ARMS 2 is honestly my most wanted Nintendo game announcement. I really want to visit this world again, and it's about time I talked about this topic here. I'm sure that if you clicked on this video, you also want to see ARMS 2 as well, and you're probably even wondering if it will even be a thing. Personally, I believe that ARMS getting a sequel is a matter of when and not if. I'm SNG, and today I want to talk about the future of the ARMS franchise and why it is brighter than you might think. First off, let's get an age-old misconception out of the way. Despite what most Nintendo fans would have you believe, ARMS didn't flop, and it was actually a quite successful and fun fighting game, selling almost 3 million copies as of 2023. And while ARMS' numbers aren't as much as your Marios and Zeldas, this is really good for a new IP in the fighting game genre, so I think it's safe to say that this game is likely to get a sequel in the future. So no, Smash fans, Min Min isn't a shield pick. She earned her spot in Nintendo's Hall of Fame. That being said, ARMS as it is isn't a perfect game by any means. It lacks in departments like single player content, side modes, a good ranked system, a good progression system, and more. Even the fact that the game was designed with motion controls in mind holds back the potential this IP has. Seriously, Nintendo, please make traditional controls the focus instead of gimmicky motion controls. These points I mentioned are all the more reasons why a lot of fans like myself want to see a sequel improve on what the first game did. So, when is ARMS 2 likely to be released? I think a lot of factors come into play when pinpointing a potential release date for this game, like the state of its development team and the state of the Nintendo Switch itself. I'll just say this off the bat, I don't think ARMS 2 will be a Nintendo Switch game. Nintendo's next system is right around the corner, and with rumors already floating around the Switch's successor, I think a large majority of us are ready to move on, and Nintendo knows this as well. So they're probably holding most of their games for the next generation. I also mentioned ARMS' development team, Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development Division 9, EPD9 for short. They handle ARMS, the Mario Kart series, and Nintendogs. If we check their track record, they tend to do their franchises once per console, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that ARMS hasn't gotten a new game by now. And, in fact, this team's last major project was actually ARMS in 2017, and they've been fairly silent on big projects since, releasing smaller projects like Mario Kart Tour and Mario Kart Home Circuit in 2019 and 2020 respectively, as well as a Booster Course Pass most recently. But none of these are really big projects that would take all of the development team to work on them. Mainline Mario Kart releases have also been on a longer hiatus than ARMS, so it's very likely that their next big project is the next console's Mario Kart title. I don't think we'll hear much of ARMS until the next Mario Kart releases. So to recap, it's safe to assume we can start expecting ARMS 2 once a new Mario Kart game is released for the next system, but how much time is that exactly? Well, I think Nintendo's next console will be revealed in the first quarter of next year, with its release being in late 2024. Mario Kart will likely be a launch title for the system, so if I had to put a date on ARMS 2's reveal, I think we'll see it in 2025 by the very earliest, and honestly, I think that's fine. It gives the team a lot of time to think about what they want to do to elevate the franchise to new heights and have it reach an even wider audience. Not to mention that with more dev time, it is bound to have better marketing this time around and a less stressful release schedule. Having them focus on ARMS 2 and its content updates will be very beneficial for the game's longevity. For most of us, myself included, the hiatus ARMS is in is very questionable at best, but like I mentioned earlier, when you take a real good look at it, it does make sense why we haven't seen ARMS 2 or a new console Mario Kart for that matter by now. This next thing I'll say is maybe something most of us take for granted, and fair enough, but by technicality, and I really mean technicality, ARMS was supported for a good amount of time actually. Now, this support is somewhat of a mixed topic. On one hand, tournaments from Nintendo were held from launch till 2020, and party crashes were also held until 2019, with a bonus one being added in 2020 as a celebration of ARMS getting into Smash. But on the other hand, these don't really affect the game in the long term, and have left the game longing for more and more, feeling limited with major updates stopping in December of 2017. So, while support for this game hasn't really been the best, it's been somewhat of a constant for us, at least until 2020. ARMS definitely has the potential to become one of Nintendo's biggest franchise. You can see how much care and love the team put behind this game, building its world and making us fall in love with its characters. We would all love to see them again someday. I really think that ARMS 2 has a bigger chance of happening than it doesn't, as the development team has expressed interest in continuing the series. Speaking of, one last thing before I go, I want to end the video with thoughts from the development team. When the producer of ARMS, Kosuke Yabuki, was asked for an ARMS sequel in 2018, he said that it was too early to think about that. However, he and the team would like to talk about ARMS 2 again when they're finally in the right time and condition to be able to provide a big surprise for everyone. Don't lose hope, ARMS fans.